rebuild Martin Luther King Drive. Every city has a Martin Luther King Drive that needs help as far as the way it looks, the rebuilding of it, and how much damage is done to the street. So this is my city showing that our Martin Luther King is no different than any other city's Martin Luther King Drive. It needs to be rebuilt too.
BSA the way to go, hey, oh, 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 BSA is the way to go.
What Martin Luther King Boulevard looks like, and this is why it needs to be rebuilt, because it's buildings that are broken down, as you can see, damaged, buildings that need repair, severe repair. There's not enough businesses physically on the street, and that's why St. Louis feels the need to come out and say something and stand up for the rebuilding of this street to basically help rebuild St. Louis. Empty lots with grass overgrown. Again, businesses that are not open, businesses that have been closed for years, and there are businesses that are trying to open. And then there's buildings like this.
Y'all got y'all voices ready? Y'all got lungs? Y'all got earn your lungs? Here we go on this one right here. What do we want? We're going to clean streets. And when do we want? We want to clean, all right? I got the what do we want? Y'all took the clean streets.
I think this is a clinic that's over here. So this is about, once again, rebuilding the street Martin Luther King in St. Louis, Missouri, because it is covered with partially open businesses and a lot of businesses that have been closed for years or have not, came back to the community for whatever reason. So that's what this is about. Rebuilding St. Louis, and definitely rebuilding and focusing on Martin Luther King Drive, because in most cities, Martin Luther King Drive has been given a bad name because basically how it looks. It's buildings that are torn down or half torn down that look horrible, and this is supposed to be a representation of Dr. Martin Luther King, and it's not. It's horrible. So just make sure in your city that you see what the issues are and you decide to do something about it. One of the organizers are right here, right in front of me. We are physically walking down Martin Luther King. This is what this is about. new buildings over here that they started to build up. A very, very few though. Like this is next to the church that's on that's on Martin Luther King. So this is the start. This is part of some Arlington Grove building project. I'm not sure what it is, but looks like a housing community building. I'm not sure if it's for elderly or what, but this is just one block, 2 blocks maybe of Martin Luther King, and then the rest looks horrible. So that just tells you how, the city really needs to pull together to build up the entire strip. We have several strips in St. Louis for entertainment. That this could also be the same way. That's a safe area. There's the Central West End, the Delmar Loop, the Cleves Landing, and also in Webster Groves. St. Charles, they also have a strip out there that they're building up too, but our main ones are the Delmar Loop, Central West End, and the Cleves Landing, where there's back-to-back restaurants, back-to-back stores and things to do. And they need to do something very, very similar to that here on Martin Luther King Drive. Tear down these buildings and build up something safe for adults and kids, entertainment district, shopping. They need to do it. And every city has this problem when it comes to Martin Luther King Drive or Boulevard, Street.
I said they was done over there with the
Another example of how the buildings on Martin Luther King look, boarded up, businesses closed. Basically, when you go down a few blocks, you see that there's nothing there. Companies that used to be here decades ago that have closed. This is another example of how Martin Luther King looks right now. Another empty lot, another building that needs to be torn down. Looks like it used to be a storefront and maybe residency. This is Martin Luther King Drive in St. Louis, Missouri. So not a good representation of his name by any means. More buildings that are boarded up. And more buildings. And these buildings are right across the street from each other. It's on the same block. Can you imagine how amazing this street could be if this was actually built up where there were restaurants, stores, and, just adult and kid-friendly atmosphere here on Martin Luther King? It could be an amazing street for St. Louis. Here's another empty lot. Sorry, fighting off bees. Here's another empty lot on Martin Luther King. So if there's any major construction companies or anybody that has a skill or a talent that's able to assist in helping St. Louis rebuild Martin Luther King, get in contact with BSA. It's an organization here in St. Louis, or you can leave a comment down below on my video and I'll get you in direct contact with them, because they are a local organization that are determined to rebuild Martin Luther King. This could be shopping, a family aquarium for kids. I mean, it could be anything popular and amazing on Martin Luther King. Rebuild your city. Learn that just because that's the way it looks, it doesn't have to stay that way. This is my city. boarded up. Another building that glasses broke out, boarded up. This is how Martin Luther King Drive looks. Step in, take a stand, and rebuild your city. This is my city, St. Louis, Missouri. Rebuilding Martin Luther King Drive.